Talking today about a little concept that I learned out on the Canadian PGA Tour called the over-under, and it's not what you think.
This is the Golf Essentials Podcast with Casey Borg.
Saw an article today checking out the Waste Management Phoenix Open, and looks like, some pretty low scores out there. Rickie Fowler and Justin Thomas are leading the tournament after the first round, and the article was basically saying that Fowler and Thomas share the lead and a house at the Waste Management. So it looks like they're shacking up and renting a house together out there. So it brought back some memories of my time out on the Canadian PGA Tour, which is, if you're unfamiliar how the golf tours work, you got the PGA Tour, which is like Major League Baseball, and then you've got web.com, which is the next league below, and then arguably the Canadian PGA Tour would be next in line, although there are a number of tours around the world, but as far as the hierarchy here in North America, that would be how it goes. So basically in sort of like AA baseball, traveling around North America, and it was really cool. I had some sponsors, but I didn't have very much money, and the guys that I was playing with and practicing with, they were kind of the same boat. There's really not enough money out there unless you're really playing great, to turn a sizable profit, and plus we went down to Guadalajara, Mexico, and Ixtapa, which is down Zihuatanejo. If you ever saw Shawshank Redemption, that's where he plans to go when he gets out of prison. So we were down there, and then we went all around the U.S., and we played 6 or 7 events up in Canada, Montreal, Vancouver, Winnipeg, stuff like that. So you got to travel around, and so each week we would show up, say, on a Sunday or Monday, and then, for Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday would be practice rounds. So week in and week out, you end up sort of playing practice rounds, coordinating, when you're going to go with the same guys. You develop these cliques, and I had some good buddies, Scott Hawley, Eugene Smith, Rob Oppenheim, who's been playing out on tour quite a bit, and some real good players, good dudes. We had a lot of fun, but we wouldn't be staying in Ritz-Carltons. We'd be staying in Comfort Inns and things like that, and whatever was available. And it's really funny just thinking of how Fowler and Thomas are living it up in Phoenix or wherever they go, flying on their jets and things. So we would rent a car and we would share a car. I remember out in Sacramento one year, we rented a car, and it was what the hell's the name of that car? The Oldsmobile, sort of those shag and wagon cars. I forget the hell what it's called. I'm drawing a blank, but the thing was so funny. It was we didn't like the car at all because it wasn't wide enough to accommodate a normal sized set of clubs or woods, at least horizontally. So you'd have to like knock down one of the back seats and lay them in there, and the PT Cruiser, that's what it was. And it was purple. So we had like 3 or 4 of us squeezed in there with a bunch of clubs. It was just crazy. And that's how you live in the minor leagues. And we had this thing, we were just laughing. Like anytime we saw another PT Cruiser, all of us would stick our arms out the window and give them a thumbs up, and we'd usually get a thumbs up back. So it was really funny. But back to the living arrangements. So we'd get back to the hotel. Each day we'd have basically a match. We'd have some side games out on the practice rounds as we're checking out these golf courses, and during the tournament for that matter. So when the tournament started, however it worked out, the high score for the day, so we'd have 5 guys in one room. So 2 queen-size beds, 5 guys in one room. And we had this thing where the 2 guys each on each bed And we called it the over-under. So one guy would be over the bed sheets and one would be under the bed sheets to avoid any risk that we would, rub ankles together or something accidentally in the middle of the night. So we were doing the over-under, and the high score for the day would have to get the rollout caught. And that's how we figured it out. So, you could be, you could shoot 65 in the first round leading the tournament, and then, shoot 75 the next day, and everybody in the room beat you, and now you're, a few shots off the lead, sleeping in the rollaway cot. It's really funny. But, so a year of doing that, doing the over-under, and sleeping on rollouts and, renting PT cruisers and stuff. It's not exactly what you see the boys on TV doing, little different levels, but we sure had a lot of fun. And, those experiences, both on the golf course and off, led to, a lot of great memories. And, some of the stuff, I wouldn't have managed to qualify for a U.S. Open or making a cutout on the PGA Tour. I would never have had the sort of the experience behind me and the sensibility to go and play well in those circumstances without all the repetitions, without all the travel, without all the sort of those iterations on the Canadian PGA Tour that I had the chance to do. So I'm awfully thankful for that. And, any of you guys that are striving to, get better at golf and improve your games enough to maybe play college golf or later to turn pro and give it a shot. And, I would encourage you to do that. My mindset was, my time is very limited, right? So the chance where you have, such limited overhead in terms of family, debt, obligations, job, where you can take off and do that sort of thing is very, very limited. And I wanted to at least be able to say to myself, sitting here, 15 years later, that I gave it a good try. And I did that. And you owe it to yourself, if you're dedicating some time to play, at least give it a shot and, give it your all for some period of time to at least gauge where you stand. And I'm awfully thankful to have had people that supported me enough to do that. And I sort of realized it was very obvious to me that my time was going to be better spent doing that than it would have been sitting behind the counter in a pro shop or doing something for some nominal hourly wage. When you're young, when you're 20, 25, that's the time to go try stuff like that and see if you can hit a home run. And, for me, getting into the few successes that I had, right, having the chance to play in a U.S. Open and that stuff, made it all worthwhile. And I would wish that on anyone who is working at the game in a competitive capacity. I really wish that on everybody that gives it that effort to have the chance to at least experience that. It was really incredible. And but those are my that's sort of what came to mind when I saw Fowler and Thomas were sharing a house. I'm pretty sure they're not doing the over/under like we used to do on the Canadian Tour. And, nor are they doing rollout cots. Instead, they're, flying their jets and going out to, the nicest restaurants in town and probably renting, 10,000 square feet somewhere. But thought I'd share that story with you. No real golf action to report today. We had a lot of work with writing some stuff in terms of our free golf lesson, marketing approach for golf courses is taking root, and put together a pretty comprehensive ebook today to be able to distribute that to clubs and to help them figure out how they can attract some new business and get some new bodies out there at the club and bring people in the door with the opportunity to convert them into, net new customers and things. So that was my day. A lot of writing and a lot of formatting and stuff like that. Didn't hit a golf shot today, but thought I'd share that story. Good stuff out in Phoenix. Really fun tournament to go to if you're ever out there. It's really just a party, and there's some golf over there on the side, Well, good, guys. Reach out if there's anything that you've got. I appreciate you all listening, and I really enjoy doing these sessions. It's a really cool documentation for me personally as to, what I'm working on, what I'm thinking about, what I'm doing. Hopefully it's in some way, shape, or form delivering some value to you guys. And, I want nothing more than to hear from you guys, to interact with you, to have you on the show, to talk with you, and to develop a circle of people that have sort of a shared interest in the game and in the business of golf. And hopefully the stuff that I'm talking about and bringing to you guys is making some sense and helping you out in some way. So cheers, guys. Have a great day.